Hi, hello guys. Today's our lecture is difference between goals, aims, and objectives. There is differences. What are their major difference between goals and aims and objectives? Aims are basically at the national level. A national designer sets the aims, give the concept of aims, and goals are institutional level. Institution sets and designs the goals, and objectives are your instructional level. Let's suppose is subject content to the objectives, and those objectives are achieved with limited sources and with limited passage of the time. Objectives, your objectives are streamed from aims. Objectives are streamed from aims, yes, and goals are broken down from the objectives. Goals are broken down from the objectives. This is, and aims are broad. Aims are at the broader level than the objectives, than goals. As I have said, you nation at the national level. These are at the national level, and objectives are the institution. Either that this is education institution, departmental, or social institution. But further objectives are divided into the goals, and goals sets the objectives. Let's suppose my goal is to be good human, to be educated. But this is my goal. For this I set objectives. I set specific objectives, or I choose a specific direction. So that is objectives. Means if you set your goal, for that you must have the certain kind of the objectives which make you possible to meet your goals. And aims are something, those are at the high, and those are generalized, you can say. Of aims, there's a difference between aims and objectives. Aims are ultimate, which individual or group what want to be achieved. These are achieved through the individuals and groups. These are achieved by the individuals and groups. There are some people in the form of group. They have some aims to be achieved, or they have decided some work to be done. So this is their aim. Individual has also aim to a specific work to be done. But objectives are at individual. Objectives are always for the individuals to be completed. Objectives are set for the individual, for the development, or for the welfare of the human, for the individual. And the aims are long-term outcomes. Aims are for the long-term outcomes, but their objectives are for the short-term outcome. These are setted, these are designed, these are placed for the targeted for the short term, that can be achieved for the short term. If you are studying the subject of the guidance and counseling or psychology, education psychology, but some objectives are given to be achieved for this specific time, for the short term. Not all the life you cannot study to the education theories of the education psychology or another subjects. Means these are for the short term. Those objectives are needed to be achieved. Aims are general direction. These are general. There is a generalization in aims and in general direction, but the objectives have the specific direction. These are the objectives. These are needed to be achieved within months, or after within few months. General direction, but there is a purpose. There is a purposeful. Aims are purposeful, but in objectives there is assessment, there is an element of the assessment and objectives. Either there's a formative assessment during class, or there's a summative assessment at the end of the course or study program. These are based on achievements. There is an assessment and they can be measured. M's are measurable. Your M's cannot be measured. M's cannot be measured. And objectives can be measured. I have achieved some objectives. I measure my objectives with the a teacher measure the objectives with using the different tools and techniques. Either there's a summative or formative assessment. Uses several techniques and methods for the assessing a student's learning outcomes. Means that is measurable with the form of grades, performances, projects, assignments, scores. That is M's are broad. These are broader, these are high. And objectives are, there's action in objectives: exercise, action, practice. There's an element of the action, practice and exercise in the objectives. And beyond your M's are beyond the school, all around. Means you for the achieving your M's, it is not needed to follow the classroom, to be strict, to always be too strict in the classroom, to follow the teaching methods. This is not enough. This is something very tiny. This is something very not enough, small. But objectives limited source and time. For the objectives there is a limited source, limited time, not all the time. You have some objectives, you have a certain and specific direction and certain specific sources and time. These are immediate actions can attain the goals. Immediate actions after these are immediate actions, and for those, if you achieve the objectives, means you move towards the goals. Next is difference between goals and objectives. The goals are broad than objectives. If you achieve the objectives, then you move towards the goals. Our goals are beckoned on small components, fragments of the objectives. These are intangible, abstract. These are abstract in nature, intangible and abstract in nature goals. Intangible. These are specific and tangible. Your objectives are specific and tangible and measurable. You can measure them. And to run a profitable operation, increase the revenue and the reducing the expenses. And general in nature, goals are general in nature and not time bounded. These are not time bounded. And objectives are time bounded and limited, short or minimized. Okay, guys, this was today's lecture, objectives and their differences. For the next lecture, attach with us, subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for to get access or approach to the next videos, to next lectures. Thank you.